All right, we will start with roll call. Ken?
Here.
Guy?
Here.
Ken? Here. Nate? Here. And Jeff is here. I will just make one comment for those of you streaming online. Our band is over playing at the dump tonight, and so we're losing some of our audio video support, and so we just have the webcam here. So thanks for putting up with any of those issues. We do have one public comment. So Brandon, you've got the floor.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, thanks for taking a couple minutes here.
You bet.
My name is Brandon Nichols. I've been a Fall River area resident for about 11 years, and I'm here with my wife, Cassie. And our son, Henry, is enrolled in Fall River Elementary, and I can't speak highly enough about the folks here. They are wonderful. He is in special education as well, so he splits some of his time with his special ed class as well as his gen ed class, which will now be his third grade class next year. And we learned shortly after he was enrolled that Fall River's ability, maybe not ability, but Fall River doesn't have currently a way for students past fifth grade to continue their schooling here at Fall River. After fifth grade, those special education students who aren't able to, for lack of a better term, keep up with the rest of their class without help, are given the option to have their schooling finished in Riennial. And when I learned about the new building that was being put up, I was very excited. I go, yeah, we're gonna have some more space, because I thought that was the issue. And then I see the space gets, which is great. Don't get me wrong. I love the trades. I love that it's being used for the auto lab and the ag stuff in the melt shop. I love that. We need more of that. But from a space issue, I was really hoping to see, or I'd like to know, if there is any thoughts to having special education students at Fall River continue their education here throughout senior year, and if that can't happen again. I've spoke with educators who were here in the past that have since retired, and they mentioned, yeah, no, they used to go all the way through senior year, and I don't know when that changed. I've only been here 11 years, but I wanted to find out if there was anything that the school had thought of or planned to make that transition possible, have these students stay in Fall River rather than go to Rio from a cost saving standpoint. It wouldn't have to be shuttled over there anymore. The school wouldn't have to pay for a bus or van for that. Yeah, I know it's a bit long-winded and I am kind of winging it, but that's kind of my question. I was hoping to find out if that can happen. And I would love that to happen. Yeah, so my son has those friends that he can graduate with.
I appreciate you bringing that. I don't have an answer on the spot here, but let me take that one away and we'll get back with you.
Absolutely. Thank you. And if you guys want my contact info, I'd be more than happy to hang that out too.
I know where you are.
Yeah, I know you. We've moved.
I still know where you are.
Yeah.
Jennifer, do you know when that would have changed? Because I got to believe.
I don't know when it changed. I do know that there have been conversations that we've been having. And then the logistics of it right now, we still are getting hooked up on some things, but to answer your question without making any promises, there are conversations that are happening.
Okay.
I just don't know the how and the when is what we're struggling with a little
So I'm in
bit.
my 5th year as special ed director here in Fall River. So that has been the process that we've utilized before I became director. And I was here 3 years before that, just as principal, and that was the process then. It is something that we as a team have discussed our options in working with CISA-5 and how that can look and what that could look like in the future if there's possibilities. But like Dr. Treptow said, we're still working through the logistics of that to see if that is feasible.
Understandable. Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
So Yeah, just wanted to bring that up to the forefront. Okay.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
your time.
Thanks, everybody, for
Thank you.
listening. I appreciate it. Nice meeting everybody.
Yeah.
Seeing you again, too.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, and we will move on to Celebrate Fall River.
All right, I'll kick us off tonight. I have Miss Oakley Schultz here. She won a big award. Come on up, Oakley. Ready? You got this. And she is here to present the award she won due to her fantastic artwork. So what is that, Oakley? What is the award you won, and what is it for?
It's for the back of the cover of the Columbia County book thing.
The directory?
Okay.
Fantastic. So she took time out of her day to decorate and create this, and then it was submitted amongst lots of other submittals, and she was our winner. And so she'll be representing the school very well.
I'm excited to see it. It hasn't been public, it hasn't come out, this one hasn't yet,
We
correct?
haven't gotten an
Yeah,
actual
I didn't
physical
think so.
copy, it's just
Okay.
online right now.
Okay.
And then she also received a certificate behind there. And so she is gonna get that baby framed and put up in her bedroom and celebrate that. So good job, way to go.
Yep.
Thank you for participating in it, that's important. We're really proud of you.
Abby's gonna introduce our next group here.
Go on, basketball.
It's a proud moment for you tonight, huh? Double personal and professional.
So this was part of my spring sports wrap up too, but I was able to get Coach Mickelson and his team here. They just finished up and are national champions for our trap, so that's awesome. First time. Kind of go over their season and everything, so.
I'll bring him up come up here.
And they're famous, they were all interviewed on the news.
We're in the coaches.
Yeah.
We got Coach Russ, Coach Zach, and Coach Morgan here. Morgan, you want to grab the trophy? That's the important part of it.
Mark's got it right here.
Oh.
Right here.
And then we'll introduce the team. So we've got Drew Trotter, JJ Murfeld, Matthew Salzman, and Gage Jones. The only one we're missing is our senior, our graduate, Hunter Hertzberg, who is probably working. So,
So what was it like?
Pretty cool.
So going into your final round, where were you standing, and then how did it change?
So it's not actually live scoring, like scores. We could see some of the group's first half of their round. Our coaches told us not to look, but I looked anyway. I knew there's a big group in about the top 25, and we were one of them, all within a couple birds of each other. And the biggest thing not knowing with the live scoring was watching it update once we finished, because we shot a 485, and one of the first scores I saw, it was a 484, so I didn't have the highest hopes of us making it to the top. It's just a 485, but as scores kept going in, hopes kept getting higher. Eventually there were only a couple schools left that could physically beat us, and they would have to almost shoot perfect. And it was unreal seeing it be final results and us on top.
Yeah, well done.
485 out of 500, that's incredible.
Yeah, when Matthew came over, I think we said, he's like, hey, we did it. And I'm like, yeah, we got to be in the top 5. We made podium. He's like, no, we won. The score, we haven't even seen it yet, and it was just flipped over and beat 100%. I'm like, what? Because that last little bit was that's the hardest part. It's always waiting to see where you're going to fall.
How many teams were there?
240. Only 80 made it to championship Sunday, and I believe there's over 1,800 in the entire league.
Is there different divisions, or is it all one?
Yeah, that's what's interesting. So the teams that would be, again, we're getting, and congratulations from all these guys from New York and Pennsylvania. Dodgeville came in 5th. We call those guys like Dodgeville, Melrose, and Ashland. I mean, those guys too, I think was actually in our division though. They were up.
They're in large.
I call those guys, they're Sunday shooters, because that's where the big school goes. They shoot on Sunday, that's 30 kids with, our teams with 35 shooters or more. And a lot of times more is like 80 or 90.
Oh my goodness.
Kids shooting?
Yeah.
On the team, that's their team, so we have 20, they have 90 on their team. When we went out to the teams that we are competing against, they're like that. These are the big schools, so when we're going out there, we're gonna, you know, they got 5 kids to get out of 90. We've got 5 kids. Yeah. So that's the crazy part, and I mean, it was kind of fun that Dodgeville was there. They came over and took a picture with us. 4 teams from Wisconsin were in the top 10.
Wow.
There are over 57,000 kids registered in the state of Wisconsin to shoot trap this year
In the U.S.
in the U.S. Yeah.
And we have the 5 that come from.
Five that-
So
Yeah, out of 55,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And honestly, you guys didn't even shoot your best. They did that one round though, in the championship. They shot a 124 out of 125. They dropped 1 bird, and the goal was that whole day. And we thought it was coming.
Who was
It was
worthless?
125. We won't mention.
Salzman?
You go to shoot a 24, it's still gonna feel pretty good. It's just the other 4 guys shoot a 25. You know, like that.
So when you look at the scoring, there's a 99 in there. Is that somebody that shot a 99 or okay?
Yeah.
Who shot the 99? Okay. Right.
8th grader. JJ.
Yeah, no, that, I told one of my buddies, there's a kid on the team that's an 8th grader, so I think they're gonna be good for a little bit, yeah.
Freshman here in Fall River this fall, right? Yeah.
Okay. Are you in the Fall River School District?
Technically in Columbus, we
Columbus.
just finished open
Sure,
enrollment.
that's too bad.
Yeah, we went to St. Jerome's for the last day.
They just opened
It is
enrollment,
coming.
so.
Engage, coming here this fall too. It's gonna be a sophomore.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
What'd you shoot, Gage?
97.
97, okay. Solzy, what'd you shoot?
96.
Trotter?
6.
Okay. You guys both play different sports. You know, we were talking about it in my house. Obviously, we're sports people. I told my kids I'd give them $100,000 if they could go out in the next year and shoot 99 to 100 free throws. Because I mean,
Right.
you know, that's what you're talking about is,
Right.
you know,
Wow.
and the wind's not blowing in your face and the sun's not bright. You know, I mean, there's a lot that goes into.
Right, yeah, that's a good example. Just to sit there and do free throws like that.
Yeah.
So we talked about it. This was Morgan's key phrase this whole spring was focus.
Yeah.
The focus you have to have. Forget about whatever happened last, whether you hit it or miss it. You got to forget about it and just focus on the next bird. That's the most important one. Easier said than done. We've all done this, and it's like when you can't sometimes get that out of your head. But these guys have done a really good job of doing that.
And congrats to the coaches too, like that's a lot of work that y'all are putting in with these kiddos too, so
Yeah.
appreciation all around, really
Well,
great work, guys.
I guess telling guy, we don't know it. We have so much fun doing this. You know, it's just what we do. So it's like,
It's not work.
no. We have our Sunday fun day where we go, our family day, we go out and shoot in the morning, and that's a big one. Try and pick up more places, different clubs to go shoot at to get different looks. Try to get some tournaments, stuff to get you ready for this kind of event.
Well, you were ready.
Yeah.
Where were the numbers when you first started? I mean, I know when you first started, Mark. What were the numbers then and what are the numbers now? Has it grown? Is there a JV team?
We kind of get into when we get going, we kind of squad up that way. So we have our varsity squad and our JV. And even like last year, we call them rookies, you know, our first guys, like we do in the fall, that's usually our fun league, and that's when we get introduction to traction. And then by the spring, we have kind of where everybody laid out where they need to be.
Okay, and
So you get to compete with
Yeah.
people that are about, you know, the underlying those people. that
Yeah.
you see.
Yeah, so these guys are consistent with the ones that are shooting with us scores that make the varsity.
Yeah,
varsity.
oh, yeah, very much. When it started with Zach, and how many were there the first year, Zach?
It was like 7 max.
7?
It was small, yeah.
We did right before COVID hit. I think we had 20 students signed up, and then it fell apart after that.
Okay.
And this was the first year again that we actually have 20. We had 21. I forgot about that last fall, but 20 this spring. That was our biggest team so far. That your numbers go up now?
Yeah.
Request. I mean, it comes out of the same thing. 20 is a good group. I mean, as coaches, it's a great size to work with. You can be one-on-one. The more, I mean, you'd like to get everybody involved, it's almost like basketball or something. It's like, there's only so many guys you really can be working with. So we're hoping to keep rotating people through and getting them involved as we can. And then, of course, it comes down to cost. It's expensive.
Between practice and competition, how many rounds have you guys shot this year?
Too many to count.
Because I did the math kind of for the gun club, because everyone's, they donate all the birds, the targets. And I think this last year, we were probably, I did the math on this, we were probably around 1,000. No, that doesn't work out right. 100 cases is, that's $8,500, I know. So 100 cases times, 250, 25,000?
Yeah.
Does that ring right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Who's a mathematician here? It's actually, and that's probably not even all, because someone like JJ, he shoots his own shells.
So that's why I shut the numbers. You checking them shells?
JJ, yeah, picked up some new shells. His dad went and got Jesse got him some new shells, and it was pretty
Don't mind us,
amazing.
they keep it dressed.
No,
I think we're all
Reading it
feeling that.
She needs from
But
this.
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of rounds that they shot this year, and that's, Russ and I were talking about that. We were looking at the past champions that we got to know those guys, and some of them are shooting 500,
800 rounds a week.
Yeah.
And I mean, the amount of time they put into it, and I mean, it's incredible. That's almost what it takes to get to where this program is.
I seen Quentin fishing on Sunday, and I told him how worthless he was. He should really come back and like, just watch these guys shoot.
Yeah.
Get a smile, get a smile from
I think
ear.
Quinn felt bad he couldn't be out there this year too,
Yeah.
because he wanted to come out and coach. He would have been a coach this year, but his work schedule couldn't.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He had a smile from ear to ear. He was watching.
Oh, he was so
Yeah,
happy.
he was. So I'm talking to some of the kids, this, that, and the other.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
last year. Oh, that's part of the story I have. If you want to,
Yeah, let's hear it.
if you want to hear a story, you guys have a little story about you. There's going to be a movie. I don't know what to call it, but. All right.
Don't cry.
Yeah, I try not to. So it starts, every great sports story begins the same way, with heartbreak. Last July, the Fall River Pirates walked off the track field in Mason, Michigan, knowing they had fallen short. The national team finals would go on without them. The leaderboard didn't lie, it hurt. That afternoon, the team sat together, replaying every target, every missed opportunity, every what if. Nobody complained, nobody pointed fingers, and someone asked a question that would change everything. What do we have to do to get better? Hunter, Drew, Matthew, 3 Pirates with a promise. We'll be back. Not hoping, not wishing, coming back stronger. Months later, 2 new athletes joined the team, Gage and JJ. The final pieces of the puzzle had arrived. From that moment on, there was only one destination, nationals. The work became relentless. They practiced in blazing summer heat, in biting cold, in rain, in winter, even snow. They shot under brilliant blue skies and stayed on the line as orange targets disappeared in the fiery pink and purple sunsets. Every condition was another lesson. Every missed target became another adjustment. Gun mount, gun hold, foot position, adjustments to the guns themselves. Whatever it took, whatever it gave them one more target, one more bird, one more chance. While most people saw 5 kids breaking clay targets, I watched 5 young men chase excellence. Together, one round, one practice, one day at a time. Then came Mason. 1 year after walking away disappointed, they returned to the very place where the dream had slipped away. This time they weren't chasing history. They were ready to make it. Small school, small town, taking on much larger programs from all across the U.S. Nobody knew where Fall River, Wisconsin was. They do now. On Friday, the Pirates fired a 479 out of 500, the highest competition score in team history, and became the first team in school history to qualify for the national team finals. And on Championship Sunday, The story that started with heartbreak reached its final scene. 5 Pirates stepped onto the line. 500 targets later, 485 out of 500. A new school record. The best score the Pirates ever fired when it mattered most. Then came the wait. Watching the leaderboard had it refreshed. 90% reporting, 95% reporting, 100%. It's now official. Second place, 484. 1 bird, 1 single play target, the slimmest margin imaginable. They were national champions. The emotions hit all at once. Pure elation, hugs, handshakes, high fives, fist bumps, tears of joy. Months of sacrifice, thousands upon thousands of targets. Every cold night, every windy practice, every adjustment, every promise made after last year's tournament had led to this one unforgettable moment. The Fall River Pirates became the 2026 USA High School Clay Target League National Champions, the first high school trap shooting team ever to win the U.S. National Championship. People will remember the trophy. They'll remember the celebration, the fire trucks, the Facebook posts, the TV's news reports, and coming soon, the championship t-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll remember 3 young men sitting together a year earlier, refusing to let disappointment write the final chapter. Because championships aren't won in one weekend. They're won on cold practice nights, on windy evenings, on rainy days. 1,000 of targets that nobody remembers. This championship belongs to Hunter, Drew, Matthew, Gage, JJ, every teammate who challenged them, our incredible coaches, our families, our sponsors, the Fall River Rod and Gun Club, Fall River School, an entire community that believed in a handful of small-town pirates chasing a dream that looked impossible. With every great sports story, it begins with a heartbreak. Ours ended with 5 pirates standing on top of the podium. National champions. Call it, see it, break it.
Thank you guys. You guys made Fall River proud.
I think after you guys make your rounds with that trophy at your own house, and you got to put that showcase where you can actually see it right before the gym starts, not hidden in that corner. That's something to be proud of.
Yes, thank you. That would be fantastic.
Matthew, you can tell about pictures.
We did.
Oh, did you? I forgot the story. You got to tell the story. Where are they?
It's right here.
So, Matthew, you tell the story.
Yeah,
This is your story. This is good.
This is what got it wrong. It's a gas station.
So on Friday night, we were hanging out at the hotel, and Gage, Hunter, and I wanted to go over to Myers, which is right across the parking lot, to look for some shirts. We were originally thinking Hawaiian shirts, but then I found the graphic tees. And then looking through them, pretty boring stuff. None that had sizes to fit us all, till the strawberry shortcake. We instantly bought 5 for the whole team. And then Jesse found out about them and went back the next night and bought the rest of the stock for the coaches. So on championship day, we took the line in strawberry shortcake, having teams from all over saying, "Good luck, strawberries." My dad on the other side of the range heard people talking about the kids in the strawberry shortcake. When it was announced that we had won, we were still wearing these shirts. We hadn't switched to our jerseys. Someone goes, "That's going to make a great front cover to the magazine next year." Yeah, so that's the story behind the strawberry shortcakes.
Have we seen this picture? I need to see this picture.
We have our jerseys on for the one that's going on the magazine, though.
The Facebook page? Yeah, if you get on Facebook, I'm sure I've got them all here. Definitely. After about 20 different pictures for the team jersey. We've been working on it. I'm in the championship t-shirt.
I got it right here.
You got it? Yeah,
One, two, both in my shoe. Yeah, so you guys just wanna go ahead and pass that around?
Oh, that's awesome.
Actually, this might be the best one.
That's so fun.
Busted his cheek open. Bleeding the whole time, so he kept shaking the band-aid. How long did the band-aid last?
About 46 birds. So we shoot 50 at a time, so the last like 4 birds, my band-aid's hanging off like this. Every time it was 46 or 47.
Is this yours, Mark?
Yeah. That's fantastic. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, guys. Congratulations.
All right. How many 25 patches did you make, Drew?
7.
With no 50s.
No 50.
I got the 50.
I got my first 50.
There you go. Very
Wow.
nice.
Awesome.
Did you have yours? You didn't have a picture too, where they have all of their patches out. The only one that we don't have that we gotta get, Drew needs a 49.
You're the 75.
Jay, you got a 75.
I got 2 75.
2 75, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and the 99 patch would be nice.
Goals.
I've got 11 patches.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right, and as always, anyone wants to head out, you guys can come and go as you please.
Yeah, we gotta move short off.
We will move on to district reports. Just as a heads up, we did move around the agenda. We don't want to get the administration reports a little closer to the agenda, so we'll go ahead and start with you guys.
All right, I'll get started. So 3 things I've been working on recently. Monday, I met with a group of teachers that I just want to thank for coming in during their summer hours and meeting with me. I met with Christy Ukeda, Jenna Hunter, Kendra Hayden, Tracy Nicholson, Andrea Pollen, and Ashley Probst. And our focus and our objective for the day was to look at our win structure, what I need. And that is a 30-minute block of time that we have at the elementary level every single day, Monday through Friday. And it's really looking at kids, looking at breaking our kids out of what their needs are and what they most need at the time, whether it's reading or literacy. So we have kids who need enrichment, we have kids who are on level, and we need kids that we're trying to catch up. So we really took the whole day to kind of look at our structures that we had that we were happy with, structures that we want to improve, and then also talked about how we're going to communicate that out with our staff here coming up at the start of the school year. So later this week, I'll be working on the my opening day kind of presentations around this, but we got a lot of work done. It was a really good collaborative discussion, and their input is really going to make a difference for us and how we support our students during win time. This school year, I don't think, Nate, you might have, how long have you been on the board, Nate?
This will be my 8th year.
Okay, so last
7th
time.
year, I'm sorry, 7th.
7th?
Yes.
So Nate, you're the only one here. So this coming school year in the special ed world, we are in our 5-year rotation of our special education audit. It's something that all schools do once every 5 years. I've been working on that, and there's a lot that goes into that. And I'm just making sure that I have my plan for how that's going to go throughout the school year. And my timelines are all set. And then when am I going to be working with my staff? My goal is to make it a learning experience for our staff, because you're always going to find things, and you should. And we should grow and always try to get better. And that's why this process is in place from the state, so that you see mistakes, you find mistakes, you can grow from those mistakes. And then as we go through the year, we update IEPs as needed for certain students. And then later in the year, the state looks at another batch of students to see, are you still making those same mistakes, or have you learned from those mistakes and you're not making it anymore? A lot of it's around the paperwork we do in special ed. There's just a lot of paperwork we do. And my other goal is to make it kind of seamless for staff. It can feel overwhelming But I don't want to overwhelm them with this process. It's a learning process, and my goal is to make it that, so that they grow and learn professionally. And then lastly, you'll kind of see a whole bunch of textbooks back here that Maria and I have been working on. So I've been taking time to sort and get, by grade level, different materials ready for the start of the school year, so I can roll those into teachers' classrooms when they're ready, and that they don't have to worry about that. So they'll have their math, their literacy, their social studies, all the resources ready for them in their rooms when they get here. So it's a small thing, but it takes time, and it's something that I feel like if I can do that small thing of getting that all sorted out for my staff, it's one less thing they have to worry about when they come in. Any questions?
Those are the books we just approved last
That's
month.
what
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So the literacy ones aren't in yet. Those right now are the math books and the social studies books that you did approve, and then we're still waiting on the literacy materials.
The social studies ones, that's a fast turnaround. I sent
That
that in on July 1st, and I think they were here just over a week after that. So I was pretty impressed with how fast they got us those materials, which is nice because we did have a few teachers who were waiting to come in to work on their summer curriculum time, and they wanted to see or use some of the social studies materials. So it is nice that they're here, and then they can get in and finish up those curriculum hours, and they don't feel like it's pushed off to at the end of August. Okay, you ready?
I'm good.
Okay. So my principal's report is kind of going to focus on the 3 goals or some of the goals that I'm going to address later when we have the goal section, and how I've been working to address those goals already this summer. So most of the summer is preparation for the next school year. Some of it's finishing up the last year, but a lot of it is already focusing on the next school year. So I have been working on how we are going to use research-based instructional practices and focusing on the teachers really digging into those research-based practices. So I've been planning some of that this summer. I just registered for the AWSA Professional Learning Communities Conference, and that will support the work that we as a whole building are going to use to help our PLCs and strengthen our teacher collective efficacy, both at the elementary, middle, and high school. We've been planning around school culture to create a more consistent experience for our students with behavior expectations. Ryan and I worked on updating some behavior reporting systems, and then also how can we expand recognizing students for the positive behavior growth and achievements. We're working through those things so that next year when we all are here in September, we hit the ground running and we have all of those kind of like your I's dotted and your T's crossed, and we have a plan in place. The other part is working on communications for families this summer. So using some, I lost the word, the survey that we got from the families. Communication has come out as families would like more communication. So we started that off already with just a reminder to families that online enrollment was opening up, so that families knew at this time you can go ahead and here are the steps that you need to do. There's a little change to the system, so we made sure to include a note of this is different than it has been before. If you have questions, please reach out. So that's one small thing that we started this year with a goal throughout the year to increase our communication and transparency for our families. So I was writing myself a note today, and it's important to remember that we're here in the building and we just remember all of these things, but we get to put on that parent hat who's not in the building and what do they need to know. So that's something I will look for feedback on from parents of what are you not hearing that you would really like to know about. And then I just kind of want to say I'm really excited for this next school year, and thank you for the opportunity to be here as we have our new roles and opportunities, and I'm just excited for all the things to come. That's it. That's all I got.
Awesome. So I have been meeting weekly with Brian Anderson regarding our summer projects. Everybody, as you can hear from the principals, we're all, you get done with the year, and the whole summer you're, finishing up that year and then diving right back into starting again. So I do want to make sure, and I know I do it a lot, but I just think it's a very thankless job. I want to just thank him and his team. And then also all of the men and women that are working on all of the construction projects that we have going on right now. People are putting in hours to make sure that we are going to be set and ready to go on September 8th on our first day of school. And so it's very excited to see it all kind of come together. Also, we have been meeting with Jeff Slotin with the village and with Julius Weisensell and Chief Spurbeck, and then the admin team and I and Brian, just to finalize what we can do and how we can revise our drop off and pickup to create a better flow both in the mornings and after schools for our students and for our families. So we are in the middle of putting that together, getting some things verified to make sure, yes, this is going to work. And so you will have an update on that at the next board meeting. And then we also will send those communications out once they're all finalized through the school newsletter, social media, and any other ways you think we can communicate with our parents to make sure that everybody knows what we're looking to do for our drop off and pickup times for our families. I do want to give a quick shout out. Today, Melissa Litherland, Heather Robbins, Ryan Barrier, Maria and I worked together to put together a financial literacy grant for $15,000 through the Department of Public Instruction. We are going to do it as a joint effort, K-12, and Melissa spent a great deal of time and energy putting together what our financial literacy fair is going to look like. It's got a fun pirate theme to it. And so she spent, it was a whole group effort, but Melissa put in the extra effort as she always does to make sure that everything was submitted and done on time. One of the big things that we focused on here as the shift of leadership took place was we had a leadership summit. And during that summit, Ryan, Maria, Kendra Hayden, our instructional coach, and I spent 2 full days. We started going through and analyzing our academic achievement data and then our climate data. And then we're using that to be able to set our goals. So later in the agenda, you'll hear us share our goals. We met as a team to say these are our overarching district goals based upon what our testing data, our behavior data, our attendance data, our feedback from our parents, staff, and families are telling us. And so we spent a lot of time working on that. Just some overarching highlights of our achievement data. There will be more to come in the fall once our report cards are out and our data is no longer, I think the word is embargoed. I was going to say encumbered, but I think I'm still in finance mode from my conversations with you, embargoed. But I can share some highlights. So we do have as an area of growth that is continually coming through K-12 as math as a focus for our students. And you are going to see that we're going to be working and setting some goals on what does it look like to tackle that math beast that isn't just a Fall River thing, that it's a state and a national thing as well. But we can do better and we will do better with our math scores. We had several areas of strength that I want to highlight for you. Our elementary students are consistently meeting or exceeding the expectations for both math and ELA. So that's a huge celebration that we need to be proud of. We have consistent positive trends of growth in reading at our elementary, middle, and high level. Our students, specifically in grades 6 and 12, our students who receive special education services, they are showing a positive trend for growth in math. So we're hitting some, a specific group of students, but we have to figure out how do we make that a little bit bigger. And then historically, and we're still continuing with that trend, our high school ACT scores are still either at or above the state average. So very proud of that. So we have a lot of great things going on, but those of you that know me know that we can always be better. There's always room for growth in specific areas. So we're going to keep working to maintain those things we're doing well, while also continuing to get better at those things that we're not. I know Maria mentioned, thank you, the climate survey. I do have some overarching summaries for you regarding areas of growth and strengths with regards to what our students and our staff and our families are saying. Overall, with our families, there's mixed perceptions of whether or not we're consistently enforcing the rules that we have here at school. And there's just that feeling of, are we making sure, yes, we have the rules, are we teaching them, and are we being consistent with enforcing them? We had a similar trend with our staff. They felt that our lowest rated area was how our students treat each other fairly and whether or not they're fair with each other. And then also they noted that we do a lot of positive recognition for our academic achievement, but we don't necessarily do as much as we could be for our reinforcing of positive behaviors and those students who are doing the right thing. With regards to our students, our middle and high school students, they also agreed, so you can kind of see the trend here. And this was, I put the data in and we looked at it, and this is, what came out. Our rules are generally understood but not consistently enforced. And our elementary students stated that sometimes student behavior disrupts learning, and they also felt positive behavior was recognized inconsistently. Like I said, Maria touched on it a little bit with her report. Ryan touched on it, with your win, with your goals. But we are taking this information and we're going to be doing something about it. With that being said, on the flip side, I've got our collective strengths that we have. We do have a dedicated staff that has high standards. Our families agree that we have amazing teachers who are committed to our students. Staff consistently recognize and maintain high academic achievement expectations. So we have those pieces in place, but we also have areas that we have for growth. We also have supportive relationships. The students feel as though they can go to an adult. They feel that they are supported, that they're expected to do well, and they get what they need in school. And then we also, our parents reported that they feel very welcome and comfortable communicating with their students' teachers. Our third highlight that was, again, our strength was our staff harmony and our staff workplace support. So that was a big piece. Our staff survey reported with our students that the staff feel that they get along really well with one another, and that they have support professionally from administration. So we do have a lot of really good things going on. So that is what I've been working on the first 2 weeks here in the seat.
All these scores are out of 4 possible.
Correct.
Just
Yes.
sure I
Thank
have
you
that
for
right.
asking that.
I
Yeah.
think it's
So it was
somewhere in the back, but I wanted to verify.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Any questions? Well, thank you for going through all that, and look forward to hearing more on that. All
I
right.
actually do have one more question, I'm so sorry. I know that my understanding is overall since COVID, like nationwide, there have been some concerns with math and thing. Are our trends still kind of within what we're seeing nationally, or?
I don't know about nationally. Maria and I were just this afternoon looking at the trends with the state.
Okay.
And we are right within where the state is.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, so the state usually measures students like who is proficient or advanced.
Yes.
And so when we compare our proficient and advanced, it's almost on par with what you're seeing across the state level.
All right, I believe we move on to committee reports. I believe building and grounds met before this. Do you guys want to get up to?
Yeah, so it was, we went through all the new addition, make sure all the pieces are put together, we're on track, everything looked good for that. The next one that I see is on the bottom of our new business is the bathroom. We went to the elementary bathrooms. Brian Anderson went through all the stuff that was proposed. It looks like we can add or do more things for the same price. I don't know if you're gonna discuss that in it, so yeah, we can just discuss that later, but more wall work, more floor work compared to just patches to make it kind of look like a brand new bathroom. Partitions, get those sanded and painted so those look brand new. Yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Talk a little bit about the fields. Just going with it now that we got the new guy hired. Fields will be a little bit, I don't want to say better condition, they're already in very good condition, but a little more mowed, some spray for the weeds out there, but that was kind of it for buildings and grounds. Not hired until be no,
All right, any questions for building and grounds? All right, we will move on to then a referendum report.
We have been doing weekly walkthroughs. Did you have something? No, okay. We have been doing weekly walkthroughs to be able to be up to speed with where are we at, how are we doing with our project. Like Ken said, we did take the Buildings and Grounds Committee through the building just so they could see the progress that has been made. And no kidding, from last week to this week, it is phenomenal the difference that their work is making. As you might be able to see if you walk over the front entrance, the casework will be done in a couple of weeks. The front office is painted. The secure entrance door was put in today. So the windows and the door and all that glass work was done today. They may have some things they need to finish up tomorrow. But the front office it's really cooking along. So they're getting it done. We did make the decision to not try to move Mrs. Benson, Mrs. Lee back in because there was a delay on the casework. So some of the casework isn't going to be in, like I said, for the next couple of weeks. So instead of moving them in mid-summer school, we're going to keep them put in their home base until that front entrance is completely finished for them. The classroom remodels, the paint has been started in all 3 classrooms. And then as soon as I forget the company's name, if anybody remembers, great. As soon as the door and glass people are done with the front entrance, then they're going to move in and get the doors and the windows put into the 2 classrooms that will have the doors and the windows put into them. So then those are, outside of ceilings and floors, they're coming along quite nicely. With the new addition, the piping, they've been spending, I don't know if you drove down Bradley Street, they have been spending time getting the piping done from the street into the building this week. The masons should be totally done in the building by Friday. And the gas piping is done for the welding booths. The tables are going to be going in next week. So again, every week is something new. Next week, they're also going to be putting in the pad for the dust collector. We laughed a little bit just about the size of how big it's going to be, but I'm excited to see the projects that are going to come out of it. The first thing had better be, he's not here today, is my conference table. I asked for one a couple years ago. Ryan Christian goes, I could do it for you now, but if you wait until after this is done, then so, but I tease him about it all the time. So. And then the art room looks amazing. The supply closet is all bricked in. Again, the casework, I think they said it was going to take a semi for all of the casework for the new project, a semi and a half or something like that, to get all of it in. But the supply closet is all bricked in. The garage door should be removed next week so that they can start getting the glass and doors in on that. And when we were there today, they were, the masons were there cutting out the rest of the brick in the windows so that they could get the windows all put in. So we are making a lot of progress. I am very pleased with the work that we're doing and just the communication that's happening between Findorf and us. And then I think, Andrea, you wanted to cover the finances.
Now it's time for the exciting part. Yeah, so I put 3 sheets in front of you. We'll cover each one. We'll start with the soft cost sheet. So you'll notice not much has changed since last time, but you'll notice 2 lines that are grayed out and changed to 0 and then a CO1 after those. So what that means is we had our first change order and both of those items were within that change order. Findorf then moves that money over to the project amount and removes it from the soft costs. So as our soft costs decrease, our project amount will then increase. So that's what you'll kind of see with these updates going forward. Let's see. So our original budget amount for the soft cost was 1.75. You'll notice it went down a little bit then to the 1.670 there. We still have about $123,000 left in our contingency money and also about $49,000 less left in miscellaneous surplus for anything that may come up as the project continues.
And as they get this far along, there shouldn't be too many.
That's what we're hoping. Yeah. That's what they mentioned.
What they had said to us was once they're done with the work in the parking lot, that was going to give us a gauge of, are we going to finish on time and how much are we going to have left at the end? So really, we're very close. Once they get that parking lot done, there really shouldn't be a lot of major unknowns because the unknowns are the pieces you can't see.
And keep in mind too, this doesn't include the construction contingency that they have on their side. So that is not included in this sheet.
And we think that A&E fee, we don't have any line of sight for things that will be spent with that. I think most of that will come back into the bottom line.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm. So any questions on that one? Okay. Then we'll move into the operating referendum, the one that looks like this with the highlighted lines. Absolutely nothing has changed with this since last meeting. We will discuss in the 26-27 year there, you'll see the bathrooms for $50,000. Those are the bathrooms that we are discussing tonight. There has been discussion about if we do have some money left in the capital referendum, we will then move that budget over to the capital referendum so that we have some room in the operating referendum for some other choices. So otherwise that one is completely the same. And just another mention on that, the stage curtain, the bid was approved on that last month. And so I think the plan is to order that in the fall. So once that's ordered and installed, then we'll change that to red and complete it as well.
Do they think that that will be available and installed by the fall play?
Yeah, so right now we're working on getting the NPR painted, and then Greg also asked if we're getting the NPR painted, can we repaint the stage, the flooring of the stage? And so that kind of put us back, not back, but it just added another level of what we were looking to do. And we don't want to have the curtains, brand new curtains here until we have all of it done. But Greg's got it pretty well planned out. Mm-hmm.
Then we'll move to the last sheet that includes both our operational and capital referendum. The only thing I wanted to highlight there was towards the bottom, there's a spent amount. So that has increased quite a bit. We've been getting some bills from Findorf. So you'll kind of see where we're at on the project with that number. The highlighted, like I just talked about with the stage curtain, that's highlighted. Order that soon. And then the only other line, the bathrooms, we'll add in there when we know where we're taking that money from as well.
And that 50,000 is all day, like, so that's compared, so it'll come under the 90 that we originally expected, and then potentially could be done out of 49.
Right. So the estimate before the referendum, like when we originally started, was the 90. Our expected cost then was the 50, and we're thinking the 33,000 for the work from Findorf, but then Brian will need to purchase toilets and do some other work in there as well. So it will probably come out to around that 50,000.
Okay. But that's not decreasing the scope, that's the full scope.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So any questions on that one?
No, I like the continued transparency, so thank you.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions for the referendum report? All right, we'll move on to gifts and donations.
Okay, we only had a few gifts and donations for this month. Baseball, basketball, golf fundraiser received money from Schumann Printers and Mickelson Feed. Pet band and slash band received donations from Elizabeth Woodward and Charmaine Schultz. And Greg Keller secured an AV grant from Adams Columbia Electric for, I believe, the studio.
They were for yes, they're going to be doing podcasts. And so they got the microphones and things to be, he was very excited. I saw lots of pictures.
Awesome. Again, I don't think we've had a meeting without gifts and donations, so it's always great to see. I kind of highlighted a couple changes to the agenda. One thing I'll just highlight for the group is, we started moving things like minutes and payroll into the consent agenda. You'll see kind of continued additions to that as we see things that are a little bit more administrative in nature and less discussion, just to kind of make them into one motion. So in the consent agenda, we do have the minutes from the 6/17 meeting, which were provided in our packets, both payroll and voucher detail also in our package. I think the WIAA membership was in our package. I don't think the academic standards or the WASB renewal were.
Correct. So the academic standards, they're on the website that I put there, and I didn't print them because it would have made your packet about, we'd be killing some trees, because it's for every grade level or grade band, and then it's every content or course standard. So this is just saying we at Fall River are going to adopt the state standards that we are pretty much mandatory, required to adopt. So that's why it's in the consent agenda.
And then the WASB.
So that is the membership for the board. So that is where you have all of your legal consultations, the trainings. I think I sent an email with some trainings to Kelly. I don't know if you guys have received them also in the past of just different things, resources available for the board. Forgive me, I don't know what the membership is off the top of my head, what that fee is, but it's something that is every year we have joined. It also opens up the opportunity to be able to go to the state education convention in January. And so I think, are you on the name? Yeah, so if you're wanting to go to that, and really it's open to anybody. If anybody wants to go to the state education conference in January, you're welcome to go and attend some seminars and learn a little bit more.
So any questions on the content within the consent agenda? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
A motion by Nate, seconded by Ken. All those in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. All right, we will take a, what?
Can I just back up to to the referendum thing? Sitting here thinking about it more, you guys are putting the carpet in the hallway, where you're putting the carpet for Mrs. Lee's area down the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
What, you guys should just get a price of what it would cost to do the couple of rooms in the actual
The offices?
hallway. Yeah.
We can look into it.
I mean, I would, because there's like 3 rooms in a hallway that you're not going to do, and the carpet there that's existing is old. It's not gonna come together well.
Mm-hmm.
Are you thinking the copy room too, Nate? The one that's off to the left?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, and I would say the
just
carpet in the copy room is
Yeah.
even older than the carpet in our office.
It gets a lot of traffic.
It does.
Yes.
Mhm.
It's more worn for sure.
Yes.
I will absolutely.
Might be something to think of, not that they, the other thing I would say, not that they haven't thought of it, but potentially doing the carpet in the rooms, and maybe if there is a lot of traffic in that area, doing LVP in the copier room or in that hallway, potentially, robbing Peter to pay, doing the carpet in the rooms and doing something just to think of, but you only have 3 rooms there, not to do it would be foolish. I mean, they've got green carpet going against cool looking black and red carpet. So.
I thought we were gonna do the hallway.
The hallway, but not the offices.
Yeah.
I think we extended the hallway. They had it stopping at that copy room door and we pulled it back further, but we didn't go into the
It
office.
might be just something, I mean, the cost there is gonna be,
Especially with, you got the crews there, you got.
yeah, I mean.
Wouldn't it just look nicer to just be consistent?
Well,
rather
no,
than-
you're not, I mean, the public's not gonna really see it.
Yeah.
They're not gonna really see it, but.
It would probably be 3. That little office that I was in
Yeah.
last year
Yeah.
would be a 4th office.
Yeah,
that
to
you-
walk from there and then go on to old stuff, and
To-
you've got
Right, to not leave
literally
a 10 by 10.
900 feet of
So the
material,
Mhm.
The office as a whole.
so.
I'll put
Yeah.
that request in to get a rough order magnitude of what it would be, and then.
Yeah. I mean, they're there, so.
Mhm.
The biggest work you guys would have is removing the desk and stuff from the.
Just got it organized too.
So hypothetically, what are your thoughts if I do 2 of them? If we're doing that, I'm just thinking all of the furniture and stuff is going to be out of the upper office as well at that point, if they're there.
That would be another
Get
thing.
2 of them.
Yeah, I mean, there's more square footage there.
Right.
I mean, you've probably got twice as much footage in that office there than you do down, those up, well, whatever, yeah, I would, get one for the
I'll
lower
have them
office and one for
give
the
them
upper
to us
office.
separately just to look at
Yeah.
what that would cost. I didn't think about it till you were saying having everything pulled out.
Well, they're removing they're gonna put a door in, so there's already
Right.
something that's gotta be tore back there, I mean.
And
it would make
everything's
so
gonna
much
be
more
out
sense
of
to
the
do it now.
offices.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we will move
I mean,
on.
Brian's got, you have other rooms that you're gonna do that are in the elementary wing, you have leftover material that you could potentially even use for the, again, we can talk about it later, but certainly.
We have materials here.
Yeah, there's certainly, from the hallways that were done years ago, there's leftover material there that you might be able to put in the hallway in that office where you're just paying, you're gonna supply the material, they're gonna just supply the labor, and then use that carpet in those rooms. It might not, something to think about.
I'll look into it. Thank you.
All right, we will move on to a newly formatted treasurer's report, which I think we got an updated copy from the one in the packet.
Yes. So the one in the packet was the only one I had at that time from May. The one I gave you tonight is from June. And so I did send an email today with an explanation of all of that. I don't know if any of you got a chance to read it. But just some history on how we came to this report. Dr. Treptow and I both attended conferences where CISA 5 came in and gave a session on this report that they supply to schools, just a budget monitoring report. They put it together for us, and then from there, I'll maintain it with our data from Skyward. So the one that says for the period ending June 30th, we can just kind of go through it page by page and let me know if you have any questions as we do. So the funds that we included in this was 10, 27, 50, and 80. So none of the referendum accounts are in here because they skew the data, and we kind of do those funds during the referendum reports. So this is just our general everyday funds that we use. So the front page there just gives you an overview. The June report is a little skewed because we have not gone through audit yet. We still have budget transfers to do, some journal entries, things like that. So it's a little bit off from what the final June report will be, and I can provide that to you once everything is finalized. We have audit next week, so maybe sometime in August, I would say. Then if you go to the second page, it focuses just on the revenues. So you can see what our budget was at the top there and what our activity has been for the year. So we're at 92.61% of where we should be. So once all of those other journal entries, budget transfers happen, that should be very close to 100%, which as you see the where it says percent of budget used in 24-25 and 23-24, we were very close to that 100%. If you notice under 25-26, the fund transfer had 0%. So that's one of those things that will change. And then we do have some revenues to come in yet. As you can see at the bottom, that's only at 67.61%. So just a few numbers that will change there as we finalize June.
And I'm sorry, so what previously was in the fund transfer that is now not listed in there?
So fund transfer, every year we do a fund transfer between Fund 10 and 27.
Got it.
Fund 27, which is our special education, runs at a deficit all year, and then we do a transfer back into that from Fund 10 at the end of the year.
Got it.
Yeah. The third page, expenses, kind of the same idea. It lists our budget, where we're at for activity, and then our difference. The one that really stood out to me was the debt retirement. It's at 1,664%. There was not anything budgeted. I mean, $1,000, but not quite enough for what we needed it for. We had to pay some interest on our revolving line of credit this year. And we also have a lease agreement. This is the first payment of 4 for the computers that we leased from a company that Jake found for us. So that will be built into the budget next year, so there's not such a discrepancy there. Those were the only things I noted on that page. And then the last page just shows our cash and kind of a historical look at what that is normally. So you can see our cash goes up in the summer. It goes very low, like November, December time, which is normally when we have to pull from that line of credit. And then we start getting property tax money starting in January, February. So I thought it was kind of a neat look to see, like from year to year, how our cash goes from there and what our cash flow is. Any questions? And if you guys think about it more, look at it, and you have suggestions or feedback, I'd be happy to hear that too. So just give me a call or shoot me an email and I would be happy to.
I like dress.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, looks cool.
Yeah.
I do like to see that.
Great. We both came together and I was like, oh, I saw this. She goes, oh, I saw this. And then we were like, we've got to do this. It's just easy to understand and it's right there for you.
And it is, when I was looking at the numbers and trying to make sense of it, CISA 5 was very helpful. And I just called them and said, hey, I don't quite understand this. And they're very helpful in talking me through that as well. So
I think too, a good reminder on the last page of cash flow, we try to add to our fund balance 50 to 100,000 every year.
Yes.
And then that obviously raises kind of our overall, so basically just kind of raises what that would be. So for every 50 to 100,000 we can keep in our fund balance, the less we'll need to borrow cash and pay interest on it.
Correct.
So we just need to stay the course on that.
And I think the other really cool thing about this is a very small part of what CISA 5 shared with us. It's a whole spreadsheet where I can look at expenses, revenues, cash separately. And then the cool thing about it is I can check which funds I want to look at. So if I just wanted to look at the referendum funds, I could uncheck all the other ones and it would give me a brand new report. So it's very just workable with what information we want to look at.
Any other questions on the treasurer's report? All right, with that, I will then take a motion to accept said treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
We have a motion by Guy,
I'll second.
seconded by Kelly. All those in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. All right, we'll move on to new business with a spring activities report. And while you walk up, again, another change to the agenda is to kind of group things on things that require action versus things that are informational, just so that we can kind of keep that clear. So we will start with the informational section.
Okay, really quick, so the senior high membership renewal, it is a electronic signature. So I want to make sure that you guys approve it, that I can go on then to the electronic portion on the WIU website and sign it.
Yes, we approved it in the consent
Yeah.
agenda, and then I think I need to sign it now, so I've got a copy.
Perfect, okay, and then, so like I said, it's electronic, so like, do you want me to send you the link to sign electronically then too? Because I can't just give them a paper copy or scan one, it's all done on computer, so.
Do we have a copy of Jeff's signature for contracts and things like that?
Yes. And then maybe if I could send that to you and you just add it into there.
As long as I have Jeff's consent to do so, yes.
And I'll sign it here so you
Okay.
guys have it.
Yeah, perfect.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Everything's clear.
Because I don't wanna go on it and then be like that, but okay, so some spring highlights. I know you guys have the season summaries that the coaches send in. It's also in our newsletter as well. But I just reached out to our coaches just to get some additional highlights from their seasons and some things I wanted to go over. For track, we really got into pole vault this year. We got some new poles, courtesy of the Booster Club, and we got a couple kids that actually wanted to try it out for high school. So Morgan, Chloe, and Bennett were some of our pole vaulters this year, and I know they thoroughly enjoyed it. And so bringing this out and having this this kind of new event, even though we've had it for a while, we're able to expand on that for next season, which I'm excited for them about. Also, some conference awards for Addison Sears and Devin Turk at one of their conference meets in Oshkosh was a really big highlight for them. And then, of course, Devin going to state for track for long jump. I believe he placed 8th. So, again, just more state recognition for Fall River. And then softball, they ended their season with a winning record, which is the first time in a very long time that's happened. And most of the team were freshmen and sophomores. So we have a lot of good things coming for the next couple of years. And a couple other highlights, Addie Burr and Riley Kennedy, Riley Sturmrayo, both hit over the fence home runs this season. And then Addie also hit for the cycle. So, which was awesome. Like, good things coming for softball in the next couple of years. And then, of course, track being national champions was just, the cherry on everything else. So, overall, to say I'm a very proud athletic and activities director is an understatement. some summer rec stuff is wrapping up. So we had a 10U softball team, a 12U softball team, an 8L, and then 2 NL baseball teams. And then T-ball, we had 41 kids this year in T-ball, which is that's a lot. 4K, 5K kids running all over the place on one field is a lot. So just wanted to say thank you to all of our volunteer coaches for all of that stuff. And then Coach Bish, we wrapped up tonight with 2 teams. And then really quick, a big thank you to LP Construction, Jersey Mike's, and Fall River Foundry for being our rec sponsors for T-ball and Coach Bish this year. So.
Earning 51 cats.
Absolutely. Yep. It takes a village, really.
Abby also came to the All-Star game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so with Natalie and Emma, we're both in our All-Star game, which was awesome to come to and watch and represent.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, of course.
Present.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for that update. We'll move on to the Triennial.
All right. So every 3 years, we have to go through a review of our wellness policy and complete this triennial wellness assessment. There are specific pieces, and I included the policy in your packet just to review that we have to go through. So it started with an administrative review of our current policies. Ryan, Maria, and I sat down and looked through lots of policies, your favorite. And then we do a review of our practices. That happened with our district wellness committee and administrative team. And Holly joined us as well for that. We then take those assessments and we put them all together and we meet with a team of it's huge. Administration, board members, classroom teachers, district food service staff, school nurse, community members, students, healthcare professionals, school counselors, and village representatives to basically discuss each of the pieces of that assessment and say, what are we doing well and what do we need to get better at? So we do have several goals that came out of that. Our goal is to ensure that students receive at least 3 nutritional lessons per year, documented by lesson plans or teacher logs. We're going to enhance community awareness of student wellness by providing 2 nutrition-focused family engagement opportunities. We're also going to support that with regular newsletter updates and an increase in social media presence specifically around wellness. We are going to expand our lifetime activities to include the use of the lake, see what we can do to get some paddle boards, canoes, and kayaks and start using those within our PE classes. We are going to increase scratch-made options once per quarter to show a need for increased staffing. One of the hiccups we found is that we want to be able to have more nutritious, more high school, middle school, elementary school friendly options, but we may not have the staffing right now in order to do that. So we're going to play around with that a little bit to see, what is that need and what does that look like? And then we're going to design, launch, and fully implement a comprehensive multi-pronged employee wellness program to sustain behavior change and healthy lifestyles within our district. Overall, the assessment showed that we have a lot of really strong health and wellness policies in action. We scored really high in meeting all of our requirements and managing our nutrition and environmental services. We had that audit. I know Andrea played an integral role in the food service audit, and we scored really well there. We are successfully meeting our key standards for nutrition education, physical education and physical activity, and employee wellness. And there were many areas where our official policies scored lower, but our actually daily practices received perfect scores. So we just have to go back through policy people and be looking at those policies to be able to update them to better represent what our practices are. That's that.
Thank you. And we will then move on to the crime statistics report.
One of the reports that we have to do every year is a crime statistics report. Looking at the crime statistics report, we have zeros across the board, which felt really, really good. So we're doing really well. We don't have incidences of things happening here at our school. At least we haven't in the last 12 months. I know, where's the wood?
And we'll move on to a seclusion report.
All right, I have that for your packets here. So you'll see this school year, across the top, we had 0 incidents of seclusion. So that's 0 across the board, 0, 0, 0. And then we did have a student who was physically restrained 3 times this school year. And it was the same student throughout. And always our goal is de-escalation first. And if the student is a danger to themselves or others at that point, it's our job to keep the child safe. And our staff is trained, I am trained to do that, and the staff I was working with is trained to do that. So little nugget on top of that, we are gonna have our entire staff take part in during our in-service on nonviolent crisis intervention training. So the entire staff will be trained at the start of this school year. I'm excited for that because it's not about seclusion and restraint for me when you go through that training. For me, it's more about what are the de-escalation techniques we can use for any of our students, K-12, who become escalated because of whatever it might be, students get in a fight or this or that, how do we help them de-escalate? And so that's gonna be really great training, I think, for our staff. All right, yep, thank you.
And we'll move on to administrative and board goals.
I'm gonna start, just because mine are kind of more overarching.
Hand all of them out at the same time?
Yeah, that'd be great,
Otherwise,
thanks.
we're all 3 gonna have to.
So as I said in my update, we met as an administrative team, really dove into our data to see where we are at and came up with several overarching building goals. The goals that I'm gonna share with you, both Maria and Ryan are taking those goals and determining within my role and within my leadership, how am I going to help us as an entire district to be able to reach that goal? We are planning to increase student engagement by implementing consistent instructional practices, guided by a clearly articulated curriculum that promotes active learning, critical thinking, and student-centered learning experiences to improve academic achievement. So with that specific goal, we're looking at what is the means to get to that academic achievement, and how do we then ensure that that's happening in every single one of our classrooms. We looked at our next goal is specifically about creating that growth or that continuous improvement mindset within all of our educators within our building. So being able to have people collaboratively learning and working together to figure out, okay, I'm really not great at this and would like to learn more about it, but I'm really good at this, and we can pair people together and help people to be able to network with each other, reflect on their teaching, and continue to grow as professionals. We already talked a little bit about culture. We have a goal of improving school culture by ensuring that all staff consistently teach and reinforce school behavior expectations while increasing recognition of that growth and success. So really honing in, how can we focus on ensuring that those students who display those positive behaviors are being reinforced and the attention isn't necessarily being on the negative behaviors. We would like to strengthen trust with our families through proactive communication, transparency, and meaningful partnerships. So growing that family and community partnerships. We also would like to focus on wellness, and we pulled the staff wellness goal out of the triennial to be our focus for this year. So the goals that I presented to you in the triennial, as you may have seen in the packet, those span the next 3 years before we have to do the triennial again to check to see our progress. This current year, we're going to focus on that staff wellness. Keeping those big overarching goals in mind, I have professional goals that I set for myself. I would like to work collaboratively with all of you to be able to establish clear communication protocols, mutual expectations about how things should be going, and really a unified governance model that's going to support what our mission and our vision is for our school. So how do we work together in order to make that happen? Building off of the community trust goal, I would like to develop and implement a learning and listening plan to build trust and grow relationships in order to continually identify what are our strengths and what are our areas that we need to get better at. Opening up, I'm envisioning having quarterly listening sessions to try to figure out how, meeting with more people and to open myself up a little bit more to that communication. Fiscal and operational responsibility. I will work with Andrea and Brian to conduct a deep dive assessment into the district's financial health, facility conditions, and operational efficiencies to ensure that we are allocating our resources appropriately and in a sustainable manner. What can we do to try to make sure that we are continuing to reach those high expectations and reach those high goals that we have? And then last but not least, focusing on that academic excellence, analyzing our district academic performance data, curriculum alignment, and instructional practices to establish a baseline for what those future academic goals are going to be. So really diving into deeper than we did, where are we at, including our staff, which we've got a data dive plan for our teachers during in-service week, and what do we need to do to get to our goals. So that is what I plan to be focusing on throughout this school year.
Okay, I'll go next. So there's a lot of consistency because I use the building goals as a guide for my own middle school, high school building goals, and then also to drive my professional goals. So you're going to see a lot of overlap there. So the first one that I have for a building goal is to increase the student engagement and academic achievement. We'll do this by consistently implementing research-based instructional practices and using student feedback to continuously improve teaching. I would like teachers to to give surveys to their students. I remember in college, at the end of the semester, you took this survey. And so getting feedback from kids about how are they feeling in real time about what those classes are, as opposed to the teachers kind of assuming. So working together with teachers to do that. The regular classroom walkthroughs and observations, we've been working through our our educator effectiveness document, to really make sure that that document supports Ryan and myself as we are in the classrooms, and how are we giving feedback and how are we meeting with teachers to really support them in using best practice type of instruction. The next one is to develop a positive culture by partnering with staff to consistently teach and reinforce those same behavior expectations, recognize student growth and positive behavior, and then also strengthen the family partnerships through proactive communication. So I have some ideas for how we can increase our communication, but I would also, spread the word, love to hear what parents feel like they aren't hearing, so that we have a plan for how we can increase that piece of it too. We're going to do a better job of explicitly teaching behaviors to our middle school and high school students. Sometimes I think we assume that they know what they're supposed to do, but they are children and teenagers, and sometimes we have to repeat those teaching. So not only from myself, but from the teachers, and how can we work together to do those things. And lastly, I think the other important part of it is going to be, how do we let parents know that we are recognizing their child? So we have a plan for reaching out to parents to let them know when their children are doing positive behaviors, because it's really nice to hear the positive and not the negative. So we have a plan for that going forward. To strengthen trust with families through communication, transparency, and some meaningful partnerships, I'm going to increase that communication from the principal. So not only relying on the newsletter, but also the district newsletter, but also maybe more of a newsletter that they are typically getting from their child's teacher. You get that a lot in elementary school, and then it kind of falls off when you get to middle and high school. So how can we utilize that mode of quick, fast information? And so then parents would see the information in the district newsletter, and then 2 weeks later, they get something just from myself in terms of what's going on. Here are our field trips. Here's what we're focusing on this month in our homerooms and different things like that. For professional goals, it would be to strengthen instructional practices by providing ongoing feedback, supporting teachers' professional learning, and promoting the use of those high-impact instructional strategies. So in addition to the regular classroom walkthroughs and observations, it's about myself providing that timely feedback, How do we lead professional learning to help with student engagement? And I have some ideas on how to promote some instructional strategies so that all of our lessons are highly engaging lessons as opposed to kind of the sit and get or that old school lecture kind of idea. And then using student survey data to kind of guide our professional development. So not just what we see as adults in the room, but what are students feeling? And then the lastly is to develop a collaborative professional culture where teachers continuously improve their practice through learning, reflection, using data, and then that collective responsibility all of us have for all student success. So we're going to continue to focus on some PLCs. And I mentioned earlier that I'm going to a conference put on by ASA to help me learn even more about PLCs and how we can effectively use them in our school. Providing opportunities for teachers to share their instructional practices and learn from each other because we have experts here. So let's use our experts in-house. So monitor our implementation. And then lastly, I think the most important part is just try to foster a collaborative feel with all of our teachers. It's not you and then them, it's all of us together and how can we build each other up and continue to support one another.
All right, I'll do cleanup. All right, so my first building goal is you're gonna hear a pattern here. So increase student engagement and strengthen the recognition of positive behaviors in our school is one area I want to focus in. The way I do that is by creating a consistent school-wide prior word system, which we do have. I think we just need to reestablish that a little bit and the expectation around that a little bit more. And what is the process of giving a student positive recognition? How do you give? It's kind of like when you're at work, you tell someone good job, but then you learn later on, don't just tell them good job for what? It's that kind of idea and modeling that for our staff and students. And then celebrate that positive behavior of being safe, respectful, and responsible, not just within our pirate rally, but then also making sure those the daily recognitions are also getting sent home by month for students, so parents can kind of see that. I was reflecting on my own child and the little bucket he has in his room of all of his awards that he's gotten through the years, and he goes through them and he counts them. And so I think that's a nice way for parents to know that their children are getting positive recognition, and it also helps to reinforce it with the kids at home. My second goal is to reestablish highly effective what I need win, and we kind of talked about that earlier. And I talked about kind of that first step. And the purpose is to increase student engagement, accelerate learning, and ensure that every student is receiving instruction matched to what their needs are during that win period, 30 minutes, Monday through Friday. And then third building goal would be to strengthen partnerships with families by providing transparent, proactive communication. That kind of goes back and ties to my first goal. That's one of the ways I communicate out to families, and our teachers would communicate out to families. To build that trust and celebrate student success, and to also create shared ownership for student growth and behavior. One of the ways that we would do that also would be in our teacher managed behaviors. We kind of on Monday also talked about kind of restructuring that a little bit of how teacher managed behaviors are working through our system so that we are making sure that our teachers are communicating with parents if there are behaviors that they're addressing in a proactive way, and then building that partnership with them. Because I think once a parent has that communication with the teacher and it's a positive communication, yes, we all don't like those phone calls or conversations, but if we're working together, that's the ultimate goal. And parents can help us with that. 2 professional goals for me. I want to strengthen the collaborative professional culture of our building, and by intentionally creating opportunities for staff to learn from one another, because we have a lot of smart people in the building who are doing a lot of great things. And let's get them together. I'm going to do a more intentional job during my staff meetings of having them share out what are practices that they're finding successful, or what are areas that they're struggling with that they'd like feedback from other staff members on. And it's that, I think that's just good reflection on the staff. And then you're also building leadership with it. My second goal is to increase the use of best practice within special education services that we provide our students with our special education staff by building staff expertise within our Wilson training that we're going through right now. You guys approved the purchase of that a while back, and our teachers are doing a lot of hard work around that training. And I'm really excited to start seeing that implemented with some of our immediate students and making sure that is on the, the rubber's hitting the road there, making sure our kids are getting the services they need using that Wilson. Also growing their expertise as we go through the special education audit. Again, I don't want it to be a scary thing for our staff. I want it to be something that I'm going to really pound, like, this is a learning opportunity. It's not that we made mistakes or this or that. You're always going to find every district who does it is going to do that. It's a growth mindset, and that's what we have to take away from that audit process. So that's something that I want to really hit home with our staff.
And then I'll just quick hit my proposal for the board goals, and you guys can go ahead and give your feedback. And so, in what I had sent out basically shows the 25 versus, or 25-26 goals versus the 26-27. And what you'll see is consistency in the first four. So the first one being about high quality staff, making sure that we're competitively paying the market, which I think we have had a history of doing, but we need to not rest on that one and continue to do it. Update and maintain facilities using capital where needed. So obviously we are currently under a capital referendum, currently under the building project, but we still need to stay the course on that. The budget process for long-term success, we are currently under an operating referendum, which again, that was our path towards today, but that doesn't end in kind of that when that operating referendum expires, we still have work to do there. And then, of course, the academic achievement specifically focused on literacy and math, but overall just kind of growth in academic achievement. And then the one that I did change, which I guess, officially welcome to the first board meeting in your new roles. But so we last year had one on succession planning for key administrative roles. We now have 3 individuals in their current roles, and so we're kind of now past that. And so one of the things that is very consistent with some of the goals of the administration was just elevate the transparency with the community, and just making sure, again, I believe and I hope that there is a bit of a communication gap more than an expectation gap. So I think that things that we're doing versus the perception of what we're doing in the community, I think we can do better to bridge that, and then hopefully find out where there truly is that gap, where there truly is things that we're not doing that the community expects us to be doing versus things that we're doing and we haven't properly communicated the things that we're doing. Simple example, when a community member says we don't have a plan, and, I have the plan sitting in my paper, and we have it, but we haven't communicated what that 3-year plan is or whatever it is. So I just want to make sure that we're doing a better job being transparent with the community. So I will open it up for discussion. Anything you guys want to augment before we go ahead and post this to the public?
And Jeff, I certainly not disagreeing with anything you wrote. I like everything you got here, but I do think that the succession planning, to me, when you get to the top of the heap, and I feel like the Fall River School right now in this area for small schools is kind of at the top of the heap with our leadership and stuff like that. I do think we gotta always keep thinking, because when you get to the top of the heap, there's always a neighboring school that might want to steal one of our and money talks no matter who we are. So I mean, I think we always got to have that in the back of our mind also, Jeff.
And continuing to build from within.
Yeah, me too. I am a firm believer in building from within.
Yep.
But I do think that that's something that we always have got to look at. People, it's just like anything else. If you've got a baseball team that's winning almost every game, guess what? The poorest team in the league is looking at you to take somebody from them, So, I do feel that, our open enrollment numbers and everything else around here kind of suggests, I think, that we're doing a lot of the things right. And I tell you, you don't know how many people I work with and I talk to that keep telling me, I don't know what you guys are doing over there, but what you're doing seems to be working. And I've had people from Waterloo, and I know Nate knows some of the people that I talked to from Waterloo, but they've told me that. I've had people from Randolph telling me this. I've had people from Columbus telling me that. I've had people from a lot of different areas telling me, whatever you guys are doing, you should keep it up. So, I mean, that, kudos to you guys too. I mean, you guys are the ones running the school. I just think that we gotta keep that in the back of our minds too.
I like that, yeah. Yeah, I'll certainly add that as number 6, so just kind of a reimagined version of 5.
Yeah, I don't know how the rest of them feel, but that's how I feel.
I think that's important to keep in mind, like, if we can expand and have 6 schools, like, I think it's good to like keep it on the list again.
Awesome.
The one thing I would say, to kind of go off what Jeff said as far as the financial stuff, I would, you know, where we were, where we are, and where we want to go. To Jeff's point, when people, you know, come to me and tell me we don't have a plan or we don't know what we're doing, what we do, it's not shared. And they may not even like, you know, where we were, where we are, and where we want to go. They might not like where we're going, or they may not like what the number looks like, but there is a number for 28, 29. I mean, we're looking out that far, right?
There's
There's a plan. So I think, again, sharing that, whether they like that or not. Again, I always said, students out of school 7 years ago to students in school now. I mean, I don't know who could be disappointed about that number.
Right.
And it's just not shared enough. You know, why haven't we gone to referendum? I can give you a pretty good reason when you take $12,500 and times it by, you know, 100, whatever that number is. There's a really good reason. And frankly, the students that are coming in here, you know, we did a couple years ago. They're good students. Their GPAs are higher on average than our students that we have collectively in the building. So, I mean, that stuff should be talked about.
And
Yeah, go ahead if you want to share it.
I was just gonna say, Dr. Treptow and I have discussed ways to communicate finance and budget to the community, possibly like a monthly social media blast that each month we have a different topic that we kind of focus on, but that will be something that I'm not sure how it's gonna look quite yet, but something along those lines.
Or even the board president having that too, or, you know, from a finance position or from, you know, each month taking something that's important to us and telling you how we've improved on it or how we're holding the administration accountable. Obviously, all 4 of us here sitting here, not because Kelly isn't the 5th, but all 4 of us obviously believe from growing from within. But some also view it as the good old boys club, you know, so that we can just kind of all hang out and do cool stuff together and, you know, protect each other. That's.
And to your point, Nate, that is why I have that first goal in there with the communication and all of those pieces, because I do think we could do a better job of that. And we're always that we're not doing things right, but we can always be better.
Right. And then the people that are within the district think, well, this is really bad, or it isn't good, or it could be better. But then, like Guy said, you talk to people from some of the districts. One of the districts, they can't get open gym. They can't agree on open gyms, for God's sakes. Okay, seriously. I mean, there's a big fight because they can't agree on open gyms. Superintendent wants the school open for open gyms, and the school board says, no, I'm dead serious. Shut down open gym or start finding a new job. You know, so I mean, like, seriously, there's a lot of other school districts out there that are in a hell of a lot worse position than what we are. And I think the more that we can talk, and again, not everybody has to agree with it, but these are the facts. We've got a plan to 2030. We've already closed the gap, you know, and that has to be shared. So.
Well, and I think too, just on the fiscal responsibility piece, and I just asked Jake to help me add, and I shared it with Andrea too. Just taking the opportunities to educate our voters about how school finance works. Right. And why so many schools right now are going to referendum. Right. It's because, I mean, if you look at, there's a video now, it's on our website, and we're going to figure out how to, you know, we push it out on social media. It's a 2-minute video that is the clearest way to understand school finance and the revenue caps, but we're not keeping up with inflation. And so how do you fill that gap? Right. The only way we can legally fill that gap is with an operating referendum.
Right. Well, we don't, you know, much to people's disagreement. I'm not down here because who I voted for. So the reason for referendums is factual. It has to be fact-based and not party-based.
Right.
I've said as soon as politics gets involved in the school board, everything's gonna go to hell.
Yep.
School district administrators, everything's is gonna crumble. So you don't have to like what it is, but this is the reason why. And right now, again, I think a lot of the hostility or the people, there's not enough information.
Yep.
And again, that group is much smaller than the group that is happy. But again, that if you take that small group and you can weed 4 of them out of the weeds to look at the information, whether you don't like it, but here it is.
Agreed.
That's really, that's exciting that you guys have a video like that. I think that's really good, Edge.
I mean, the graph that Andrea showed, you could graph it. You could, I mean, to me, it should be in every school board, in every month's reports, as far as where we were, and where we are, and, the goal was to get to halfway of, as far as the debt that we have, or what we're looking at in 29, 30, was to start closing that, get it at least to half. We've already done that. Not by accident, right? So, or we're close. So I think it's important to know that we're not just, we're working hard to not go to referendum, but again, don't just spring it on them 2 months before the election or 2 months before here's what
We're already starting.
It can be 950,000, but we're at 300,000.
Yeah.
And here's the reasons why we got to 300,000.
Right. Yeah.
That story should be told. Everybody likes a love story or a story of success. I mean, it's not a failure that you may have to go to referendum for 300,000. It's a huge success that it's not 950,000.
Or your school's closing.
Or your school's closing. Yeah, or we
Which
have
is
students that are
happening.
leaving. Yeah, because there's only 2 ways to run a district, frankly, in my opinion. You can have really, really good teachers, really good administration, a great school board, and still have to go to referendum.
Yep.
Or you can have a not so well-run school, not so great upgrades. Students are leaving every year, and guess what? You still have to go to referendum,
Right.
and nobody wins.
Right.
So you can have something that's really, really good, go to referendum, or something that's really, really bad, go to referendum.
Yep.
That's I'm gonna sound like
All right.
that.
Well, I'm excited that those are our goals because that gives us something to focus on for 12 months this year.
Yep.
So, I like it. All right. Let's move on to new business B. So we'll start with the hiring of building and grounds assistant Dylan Scott.
Yeah, so we are bringing Dylan Scott to you to hire as our buildings and grounds assistant. Our interview team was not only impressed with him as a person, but also the skills that he would bring to our team. He is currently a Wisconsin Army National Guard sergeant, where he is a Black Hawk aircraft maintainer and crew chief. So he has learned preventative maintenance, equipment repair, mechanical troubleshooting, and he also leads teams while he is doing that. So he has leadership experience as well. He supervised maintenance operations and also coordinated teams, like I said, not only in that position, but in other positions that he has had as well. Some other things about him, he remodeled his own home, like an old family farm home. So he learned and gained a lot of skills doing that and learning from people that were working on his house. He's had experience with snow removal. He also has about 6 months of plumbing experience, so he is knowledgeable in that area. He's a busy guy. He also belongs to a race car family, so he's also had experience with working on cars and mechanical issues there. And he is training to be a firefighter as well. So a lot of good experience and skills that he would bring to our team. He also has a CDL already and is willing to drive bus if we would ask him to do that in the future at some point. So we feel like he's very qualified to do what we are asking him to do. When we called his references, they could not say enough good things about him. Just super capable, intelligent, hardworking. He has great leadership skills and is excellent at troubleshooting things. Kind of thing that surprised us when we were talking to them. Just randomly, they're like, he's really good with kids. He's super passionate about sports. And that kind of just solidified our decision. So
From around here.
He's from Ryle. He lives about 12 minutes from here.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, any questions? All right, then I will take a motion to approve the hiring of Dylan Scott.
I'll make the motion to approve the hiring of Dylan Scott.
I'll second it. Seconded by Guy. All those in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
All those opposed.
And just a side note on that, originally he had told us he couldn't start till August 24th. He has some training in the next few weeks. But Jennifer and I kind of talked to him just to try and get Brian some relief as soon as we could. We kind of talked him into starting part-time on Tuesday. So he'll work a couple days a week until August 24th when he'll become full-time.
All right, we will move on to crisis response plan.
Okay, our crisis response plan needs to be updated and board approved, I believe, every 3 years. Just to kind of go through some highlights of some things that were added. Mrs. Kutzler created the emergency drill and role and responsibilities quick reference check. We have used it countless times this year, so thank you for that. And it just helps us to understand. So if Ryan's not in the building, who's going to step up and take those roles and do those responsibilities should he not be here. So that was an addition to the crisis plan. Additionally, if you go to page 7, we did add the illicit and or non-consensual digital images. We did have, unfortunately, some experience with some students who were needing this plan to be intact, and we realized that we didn't have it and we needed it, and so we added it. If you skip forward then to page 10, we also added a district transportation accident protocol. This came from a personal experience of mine. Last winter or 2 winters ago, we had a huge snowstorm, and my nephew and niece were actually on a bus up in Kaukauna that had gone in the ditch. And it was a little more chaotic than what my brother particularly cared for. And so I took his experience, met with Brian, talked with him, talked with law enforcement, and put together a protocol that, God forbid, should something happen with our transportation of our students, we do have a set protocol for how we are going to handle it here. Just some updates, page 17 with the death threats by suicide. We just added in at the back in the appendix the ASCA info, which is what we are utilizing. So again, just an addition. Page 22, we did separate the administrative hold procedures from the lockdown procedures. They were in one procedure, and it was a little confusing for staff, so we separated that into 2 different procedures. Last addition or change that we had was the addition of the ASCA information. So really not a ton of different things or changes happening in this from 3 years ago when it was adopted. But this does need to be board approved and adopted and then disseminated to our emergency services personnel so that we are all on the same page. Like I said, God forbid anything negative should happen and we need to use it.
Any questions on the crisis response plan? All right, I will take a motion to approve the crisis response plan as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the crisis response plan as presented.
We have a motion by Kelly. Do I have a second? I'll second. Seconded by Ken. All those in favor, vote aye. Aye. All those opposed. Elementary bathroom.
That's you, sir. Bathrooms, anything you want to add?
What you have is a quote from North to help us do the walls, basically the walls, the ceilings, and the floors in the bathrooms.
These are the ones over there.
These would be the ones across from the 5th grade and 4th grade rooms that need updating. And then we would do in-house, we would do the remove and replace the plumbing and fixtures as well as renew the partitions and such. With paint, they're in relatively good condition, but they need a facelift.
And you're okay with all that, the stuff that we're taking on ourselves?
Yep. Yeah, we got, it's a good opportunity to get this done with quality, and being on site already.
Okay. Then bridge the 50 to the 19, so this is the 19 that Findorf would do, and then there's another 30 of material and expense, or I guess help me with that.
And they're outsourcing some of the ceiling work, I believe.
Sorry.
I should let you.
Yeah. So, Findorf is doing the demo. Central Ceilings is doing all of the grid work and the drop ceilings in the building. And then there's our epoxy floor contractor that's doing the epoxy floors, whether it's clear sealed or painted, and then the addition is the same company that's doing the epoxy floor over the top of the tile. Anywhere there's tile in there, they're going to epoxy. And then there is some assistance there if we need it to help demo the rooms from Findorf if I need it. Since I don't have, we've got other projects going too, so.
Yep. And then there's two things at work here, Jeff, and I don't know if you want to separate them out or do them all tonight. One would be the approval for us to do the project through Findorf as the contractor, to have it coming out of the operational referendum as we had planned. Or we can table that, the expense and where we're going to pull it from. We are planning a finance committee meeting next month. Or you can approve us to move it this month right away, if that's something that you're looking to do, is be moving some of those operational into the capital. So tonight, if we could, we'd like to request the approval of the contractor and hiring Findorf to do it. If you wanted to do both in a motion, we would be open to that as well, if you don't think there's further discussion to have.
Yeah, so I mean, my opinion is to move it over to 49, right, to get it out of the capital funding. Obviously, we do have some, play there, so it kind of eats into that, but I think we've got play there. And then to keep it out of Fund 10, which either would grow our balance or we can spend on, again, Fund 10, you could spend on anything. Capital referendum, you could only spend on building improvement. Saying that this is building improvement, I'd rather spend it there. Because we could spend Fund 10 on capital if we want to, we just can't do it the other way.
Correct.
You got something, Mr. Harris?
Yeah, the only other cost that's involved with this is that we would be purchasing and plumbing 6 new toilets and fixtures on top of it when we reinstall, but we wouldn't be changing the location, so it wouldn't change the.
But the amount would be higher.
Yep.
So maybe doing a not to exceed. I think we've got 50 in the operational. I mean, it'll be close to that, correct?
I think if we did it not to exceed the amount we had budgeted, which is 50,000, would be reasonable, with the hopes of coming underneath.
My only suggestion would be, I think in another month or so, we'll have a much better idea where we're at with our contingencies than we are now. We may just want to wait to move it over until we know where we're at with those numbers, but.
As long as, I mean, we can move it later, it's just an accounting entry to move it from 10
Yes.
to
Yep.
49.
Yep.
Okay, then I'm okay with that. So we can delay on that just to make sure, and we can just approve it today.
About the what?
Timeline.
No, I don't think so. Well, they will be doing the work, the end of July into August, because it's in addition to their current scope of their project. They're gonna be filling in and helping us as can be. So there is the potential that we won't have the use of the bathrooms right away when school starts, but I've worked with Ryan already, and he's gonna talk with his teachers about that, and we'll have a secondary plan until we're ready to go.
Any further questions? Well, then I will make a motion to approve the elementary bathroom project as presented.
I'll make a motion, Jeff, to approve the elementary bathrooms.
A motion by Ken, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Nate. All those in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. And we'll move on to staff handbooks.
All right, Andrea and I worked in conjunction on these handbooks. I focused more on the teaching daily sort of thing. She focused more on the insurance, time off, those kinds of things. So we're gonna do this one in tandem. I'm gonna glaze over any of the smaller changes. Most of them were either grammatical or adding the correct policy in to match what it was that we were talking about. Page 25 that talks about the reduction of staff. We deleted or eliminated all of the language in there, and we are going to focus just specifically on what our policy says. So we omitted the vast amount of the language that was there, and we're going to just be talking about what our policy is. And that includes the reemployment process, which is a part of that as well. And then I think Andrea, you
Want me to
got
jump
the COBRA, yep.
Yes, page 29.
Can you help me on 27? Can you help me with 27F?
27.
27, yeah, I mean, basically, we're saying, I just didn't get that we would strike that we can non-renew someone for performance reasons.
I'm sorry, what's your question, say again?
I guess, are we eliminating the right to,
So what we're eliminating is that
not
it's saying that you would have to be on an improvement plan for a consecutive 12 months.
So now we can
Right
charge
now-
just for performance.
Well, we do anyway. And so the way the state has it set up and the way that our handbook has it set up in a later section it talks about improvement plans. Generally speaking, what our practice has been is we work with a teacher, try to help them come along with whatever area of growth we're looking for, and then start them out, okay, we're gonna give you till September, October, show us you can do it from the year before, and then at that, and I'm making up these timelines. At that point, then we're gonna create a plan for you so that we're working with those who want to learn and grow and get better, but we're not restricting ourselves to a 12-month need to be on a plan.
So it gives you the ability to kind of like work and grow with the teacher.
Yes.
On a pivot as needed.
Yes.
Instead of saying I have to do it for 12 months.
Correct. And that just, it goes to show, and many of us have experienced it in this room, of there is a lot of damage a poor teacher can do on a student's academic progress in a one-year period. And we definitely want to help everybody get better, grow, do their best. But unfortunately, time is not something that we have a lot of.
And that was the basis of my question, just make sure we have the levers to pull, so.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
So page 29 talks about COBRA benefits. We just updated the language a bit to reflect our current practice. And then at the end there, it just talks about that any COBRA that prior employee has after they terminate employment, that is at their expense and not the district's. So just some wording changes there. On page 31, I noticed that we did not have our optional benefits listed. So we do have short-term disability as an option and also vision insurance as an option, which is at the employee's cost. But I did want to list it in there just so if someone was reading over our handbook, they knew what we offered. Page 33, what is this? Oh, we just wanted to, summer school can be a bit confusing as far as hours and what they're paid for. And so we just really wanted to clarify what our expectations were. So it just lists the time that they're expected to be here and what their rate of pay includes.
Jury duty. How's
Jury
that
duty.
for you?
Yeah, just at the bottom of that
Jury
page
duty
today.
I was there for 40 minutes.
Just a quick little sentence saying we will pay our employees as normal when they go to jury duty. They're just expected to take whatever they are paid from that jury duty and give it back to the district. So. Let's see here. Page 36 and 37, just some PTO clarifications. There was just a lot of wording on 36 there that I didn't think was accurate, so we took that off. The big change that we're making is for our PTO leave donation. It was very,
Sorry about
yes,
bereavement.
yeah.
Is there like allowance around some of these definitions? Like, is it like they have to like prove that it's a grandparent or like okay, just wanted to clarify. That's all.
I think we're a small enough district that has
Yeah.
not been a problem
Yeah.
yet, but.
Perfect.
Yeah. So our PTO leave donation wording, we updated quite a bit. It was a little bit too open-ended and needed a little bit more structure so that nobody thinks we're playing favorites or anything like that. So we kind of revamped the whole policy. So you'll see that on page 37 all the way through 39. So it just really spells out who can donate, how many days they can donate, who can use from that bank, and what the qualifications are. So you can read through that, but that's basically what that part is. And then right underneath or on the top of page 39, that was what it had originally said. So we just took that part. No, that was in a completely different section. That part that's crossed out there was in the wrong section, so we moved it. Let's make sure on page 45, it had some wording about our work comp related injuries that was out of date and not a practice that we follow anymore. It used to be paper forms that people would fill out. We now have a hotline for staff members to call when they get sick, and EMC then takes the report from there. So that clarifies the work comp related injuries. I get any of your stuff?
No, you're totally fine. I mean, we
there?
did so much of it and we just
Show them.
reformatted it, tried to make it a little more clear. We'll send a copy over once we're finished with the updated table of contents and all the revisions in. But overall, I think we're really getting to a good place.
So I'll keep talking just for a minute.
Yeah, by all means.
So page 59, we just updated all of the new compensation model for certified staff members on that page. All the co-curricular positions stay the same. Just a note that last year the board had approved adding extra pay each time a coach returned. So that will be starting this year. So all of those increases are listed on page 61. And then on the very back, page 64, is the actual PTO leave contribution form that an employee would fill out if they want to donate their PTO to be used for the bank. So that we do twice a year. Jennifer and I discussed, we will do, that form will be accepted one time in September and one time in May. And those are the only times that donations be accepted. And that is all for that staff handbook.
And in all true honesty, there wasn't anything additional in the support staff.
There was for me, yes.
For you, okay.
Most of the things were the same in the sports staff handbook. I'm just gonna make sure there was a couple things. On page 24, there is a PTO leave benefit where if you are retiring and you have been here at least 15 years and you are over the age of 55, you get your PTO paid out to you at a certain rate. This is a support staff handbook, but nowhere does it say that our non-represented staff are included in that. And so I had a staff member come to me and say, well, what about us people that are non-represented? So we do want to add that wordage in there so that they're not left out of that benefit. Page 25 and 26, summer school was not mentioned at all in the support staff handbook. So I just added a little blurb like it is in the professional staff handbook that lays out the terms for our aides that would work summer school. And same thing with the PTO leave. The only other thing that changed for the support staff was on page 52 and 53. The compensation was updated for both hourly employees and for bus drivers. And that is all.
Do we have any additional questions on either the staff or this support handbook?
Yes, sorry, for the staff handbook on page 49, where it talks about the social media policy, I was just wondering with our updated policy from last month, if we wanted to like look at the verbiage, it talks about staff members are discouraged from engaging students in social media and online networking, except for
Thank you for
appropriate.
catching that.
So I wonder if like maybe a
Yep,
little
no,
more
that
stringent
will be,
language.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And that will end up having to be changed, I'm guessing, in the other one as well.
Any others? Does anyone need two motions, or does anyone prefer two motions? All right, well then I will take a motion to approve both the staff and support handbooks, with the, or professional staff and support handbooks with the slight modification, that Kelly mentioned about social media. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve both handbooks with the slight modification of clarification of social media.
We have a motion by Kelly, do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Nate, all those in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. We will move on to the second reading of Act 57 and Act 89, the other policy.
Okay, so you were presented with all of these policies at last month's meeting. Did anybody have any additional questions about the social media, safe behavior policies, communications? Okay. Am I good? We can.
Read it all?
Yes, third on.
Ready for the instructions.
Yeah.
All right, well then I will take a policy to approve the second reading of Act 57 and Act 89, the old policies.
I'll make the motion to approve reading of Act 57, Act 59, the old policy.
Motion by Nate, seconded by Guy. All those in favor, vote aye. All those opposed.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Nate to adjourn.
Somebody's gonna wait for that.
Yes, seconded by
Thanks,
Ken.
Nate.
All those in favor, vote aye. All those opposed. You know nothing.
You guys, to me, it felt like 9.5 years of my life.